Hey everybody, my name is LoPresto. I am a Diamond Ambassador with a company called New You Life. I'm excited to be here today with some of my dear friends and business partners in this company, and they all happen to have a real estate background. We're talking serious players in the real estate game. I've been a network marketer, I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I've always been attracted to not only multiple streams of income, but the right kind of income, leverage income. And as soon as I got a taste of leverage income, I didn't want anything other than leverage income. It made sense to me that I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own efforts. It just made sense to me. So I am bringing in, first and foremost, ladies first, my dear friend Kelly Duncan Smith. Kelly's down in Florida. And Kelly, you've been in the real estate game for 27 plus years. You've sold on average 100 homes a year. Why were you attracted to New You Life and this opportunity?
So it's a pretty simple answer. And anybody that's a real estate agent that might be listening to this will know exactly what I'm talking about. We are on call 24/7 as real estate agents. If you're at work, we're supposed to be at work. If you're off, we're supposed to be available to show houses. The weekend comes, I'm doing an open house while you're at the beach. So I didn't have enough of my own time. Well, they always say we all have the same amount of time. It's what we do with it, right? So I just felt that real estate owned me, and I wanted a leveraged income where I had, Warren Buffett says you should have 7 streamlines of income minimum. And I've got a couple of rentals. I have stocks. I have, money coming in from EXP, but I wanted something entirely different that maybe I could just put money towards my retirement, as most real estate agents work until they're dead. I think Chip McGill says they expire. So I was just looking for something where I could have control over my own destiny.
That's awesome. And it just makes sense. And again, people are looking. We're generally looking, especially in today's climate, what's going on right now in the world. So next up, we have Brian Meara, my buddy Brian. Brian and I are business partners. Brian, you've had about over 14 years experience. You've run your own company. You did some education on short sales. You traveled all over. What brought you to New You Life?
Well, to me, one of the things I learned is running my coaching and mentoring program after I created the course and being in the education space after having been a very successful first agent, then investor, coming up through the crash, starting, 6, 7, all the way up through 8, 9, 10, 11, et cetera. The one thing that I found working with a lot of the coaching students, both agents and investors who want to flip short sales, right? Everybody sees, HGTV and they want to get involved. The number one thing that kept people away from doing it full time is because they couldn't figure out, well, if I have a closing here and then not another one for 2 months, or it's another month, what do I do in the meantime? So to have a consistent weekly income outside of real estate would actually allow people to be full-time investors and, dare I say, better agents. When you're really desperately needing that next closing to survive and put food on the table, it changes the way you operate. And I witnessed that firsthand myself. I was coming off divorce. I went out and got my license and then quickly started investing by partnering up with the right people. But the number one, I guess you could say, hang up with people in the real estate industry, agent or investor, is that you're only as good as your last closing. And bridging that gap and having some type of a weekly pay, as with New You Life, to me, it just made total sense. And most of the professionals who I've shared this with, it made sense to them too. And that's why.
That's awesome. You make a great point there. You're working deal to deal. You're speaking the language, and everyone in real estate understands. I'm working deal to deal. I'm looking for the next deal. As soon as that deal closes, I'm working on the next deal.
Yeah.
The next one. All right. Up. Thank you so much, Bill. Up next, Kenny Olson, my buddy, who we worked together for about over 7 years in a last venture. Kenny, I remember when I met you, you had your own company called the New England Group. You've been involved with real estate for 31 years. You owned a business for 20 years, so you know what it's like to run a business, the cost of doing business. What attracted you to New You Life?
What attracted me, was leverage and duplication. I heard that those could be part of the equation. I was being leveraged with, owning my brokerage, but really being owned by my brokerage. Kelly talked about prime time, the weekends, and that's when realtors are most active. And, Brian talked about, you're as good as your last deal. And we don't get paid in 45 or 60 days. It's more like 6 to 8 months from the time that you get a listing to the time that you close on it, or from the time that you start working with a buyer to the time that you close with that buyer. So when I looked at this, I didn't get involved initially because of the income potential. I just wanted to try the product. And what evolved was I realized that I could create something and get paid every Friday. And it's literally like having a closing once a week. And so I would encourage anybody, if you keep your income options open, this is a place you want to look.
No doubt about it. Perfectly stated. Last but not least, we have our buddy Chip McGill. Chip has over 23 years experience as a agent and broker, but he's also a student of this game in, I would call it multi-level marketing, network marketing, leverage income. He understands leverage income better than most. And Chip, why were you so attracted, and what brought you to New You Life?
Thanks for having me. Well, I'll tell you, the first thing is right out of college, my mother my mother worked for the largest commercial real estate developer in the country at the time, the Rouse Company. They developed Faneuil Hall. You guys are all Boston folks. As a matter of fact, that was one of her first big projects, was Faneuil Hall. Baltimore's Inner Harbor, Summerlin, big place out in Las Vegas. And then she transferred into she had a horrible experience towards the end of her career there. She spent 25 years there, and then she got into real estate, because one of the reasons we all got into real estate is we all wanted to be our own boss, right? And we didn't want anybody telling us what to do, and we wanted to make, six-figure income, right? And so she became a very successful realtor. And I, at the time, owned a brick and mortar camera store. Okay, so I didn't have any leveraged income. My employees were leveraging me. So when I sold that store at the end of the film era, when we used to take pictures on film, transitioned into digital, I sold it and I went and became a realtor. So that was in the late 90s. I became a realtor. Well, the first thing I knew about real estate was, one, the market was hot. And if you were willing to work all the time, you could make money, okay, 6 figures plus. So what happened for us is we built a team, right? And that's what our brokers do. Our brokers build teams. Our brokers, once again, leverage us. Now, we have the ability maybe to leverage ourselves by building a team within the brokerage. So when I was introduced to network marketing, at the same time, to me, the concept looked exactly the same. So I wasn't afraid of it. It was a variation on a general agency or a general brokerage. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the ability to develop part-time an extra stream of income, which could be significant, okay, And over the years, what happened for me is I hated real estate. I just hated, I didn't hate it, right? I hated working all the time, just what we talked about. You had to work virtually 7 days a week. We pioneered that saying, hey, I got to work half days now because I got so successful. Any 12 hours of the day I want to work, right? I'm working half days. And so, but the problem was I'm working on the weekends. My girlfriend then wanted to go away. I can't go away. Got to work on the weekend. Got to hold open houses and stuff like that. And then, of course, the crash in late 2008, or 2007, 2008, was devastating to most realtors. My income from the direct selling or network marketing industry, that secondary side gig of income really kept me going, okay? And so I stayed in that industry, and even when real estate picked back up, then what happened is my mother got older, right? No fault of her own, of course. We're all going to get older, we hope. And there were times when she had operations. She had a bunionectomy. I know it sounds kind of gross, but you can't drive when you have a bunionectomy. You can't go out and service clients. If she didn't have me, if she didn't have a little team, she would have been dead in the water as a realtor, right? Sell a house, you get paid. Sell a house, you get paid. Don't sell a house, can't get paid, okay? So then she had a back operation. Well, you can't drive for freaking 3 months and you have a back operation, because if you get rear-ended, you could be paralyzed, right, in the car. So you can't be in a car for 3 months. So once again, she had to have a little team to keep that income going. And then, as Kelly said, my mother always said, realtors don't retire, they just expire, just like their listings, right? That's really what happened. There's no exit strategy for realtors, really. They never have an exit strategy. Now, it's funny, we all belong to a business model where the exit strategy is there, right, for us. But having the capability of having an income stream, and like Kelly started it all off with, multiple streams of income. The richest, wealthiest people in the world have talked about multiple streams of income, never having to depend on one stream of income. And that's really why I liked it. And the first thing is I just found a company with great products. And those products have really been life-changing. And this company has been life-changing. Working with you guys has been life-changing.
Awesome.
So I
Absolutely awesome.
Take an open look at it.
No, it's a game changer. You know, having proprietary products, being a unique brand, creating a culture, having a wonderful compensation plan, and working with professionals. It was great to be here with you today. It's funny that one of you had mentioned something about what you really didn't like about the industry, and all of you shook your heads and smiled. It's funny being an outsider and knowing that there's a commonality that all real estate brokers share. So you're going to look at this. You're a real estate broker. You're taking a look at this. Make sure you get back to the person who shared this video with you, and please, it would be financially responsible of you just to take a look, especially during these trying times right now we're all going through together. So have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.
See you soon.
See ya.